The Zephyron High Council chamber fell silent as Commander Vexthor slammed his chitinous appendage against the crystalline podium. His triocular gaze swept across the assembled delegates, mandibles clicking with satisfaction. "It is done," he announced, his translator rendering his chemical signals into galactic standard. "The human colony on Kepler 442b has been eradicated. 3 million of their kind, reduced to ash." Celebrating hisses and approving chirps echoed through the chamber. For cycles, the Zephyron Empire had dominated this sector, crushing 27 civilizations beneath their war fleets. The humans were simply the latest. "A minor species?" Counselor Thex added dismissively. "Barely 2 centuries into space travel, their defensive grid fell in mere hours." On the far edge of human space, aboard the research vessel Prometheus, Alexis Chen stared at the incoming transmission with trembling hands. The message was simple, horrifyingly so. Kepler 442b silent. No survivors detected. "No," she whispered, her coffee mug slipping from her grasp and shattering on the deck. Her sister had lived there. Her nephew, gone. Landon Brooks, the ship's military liaison, appeared at her shoulder. His jaw was set, eyes dark with barely contained rage. "They hit a civilian colony, no warning, no demands, just genocide." "The Zephyron don't know what they've done," Alexis said quietly, her shock crystallizing into something colder, harder. "They think we're soft because we tried diplomacy first." Landon's laugh was bitter. "Humanity tried to evolve past our nature. We've spent 300 years building instead of destroying." He pulled up a classified file on his datapad. "Command is uploading Protocol Reaper to all military networks. Every mothballed warship, every decommissioned weapon, every Marine who hung up their rifle. They're being reactivated." "How long?" Alexis asked. 72 hours until the first fleet mobilizes." Across human space, the message spread like wildfire. Earth, Mars, the Titan shipyards, Europa Station, 50 colony worlds, 300 orbital platforms. And in one voice, humanity remembered what it had tried so hard to forget. They were apex predators who had clawed their way to the top of Earth's food chain not through strength or natural weapons, but through relentless, terrifying persistence. Commander Vexthor's confidence began to erode 3 weeks later when the first human fleet arrived at Zephyron Outpost Gamma. He had expected a response, some ineffectual retaliation perhaps. What he witnessed defied all tactical logic. The human ships didn't stop. They didn't slow down for defensive fire. They simply charged through the Zephyron battle line, hulls ablaze, taking catastrophic damage, and kept coming. When their shields failed, they rammed. When their weapons went dark, they self-destructed at point-blank range. "What kind of species sacrifices themselves like this?" Vexthor hissed in horror, as another human destroyer plowed into a Zephyron dreadnought, the resulting explosion consuming both vessels. His tactical officer's voice trembled. "Commander, they're broadcasting on all channels. Just 2 words. Repeating, remember Kepler." The outpost fell in 4 hours. Alexis studied the battlefield reports from her lab aboard Prometheus, now operating as a mobile research station behind the front lines. While Landon coordinated with Fleet Command, she worked on something else entirely, analyzing Zephyron biology, their ships, their technology. "They're carbon-based, oxygen breathers, similar tolerances to us," she muttered, fingers flying across her terminal. "But their homeworld is lower gravity, thinner atmosphere." She pulled up comparative data. "Landon, look at this." He leaned over her shoulder, still in his tactical gear from the morning's briefing. "What am I seeing?" "Humans evolved on a death world by galactic standards. Earth's gravity is 30% higher than the Zephyron homeworld. Our atmosphere is denser. Our disease is more aggressive. Our evolutionary pressure was..." She trailed off, searching for the word. Brutal, Landon finished. We survived ice ages, supervolcanoes, our own tribal wars. We domesticated wolves and made them love us. We hunted megafauna to extinction with pointed sticks. Alexis nodded grimly. The Zephron evolved as ambush predators on a garden world. They've never faced anything like us, a species that doesn't just fight when cornered, but pursues, adapts, and refuses to quit. The war intensified. The Zephron discovered that humanity's military doctrine was terrifyingly simple. There were no non-combatants in this war, only targets of varying priority. Human ships operated on skeleton crews, maximizing automation, because every human life lost was another name added to the growing list of reasons why the Zephron Empire must fall. At the Battle of Tau Ceti, Landon commanded a small frigate squadron against a Zephron supply fleet. Outgunned and outmaneuvered, standard doctrine would have been to retreat. Instead, Landon gave the order that became infamous across the galaxy. Set collision course. Transfer all power to engines. Crew to escape pods. Sir, his first officer protested, we can withdraw and— They killed 3 million civilians, Landon interrupted, his voice cold as the void. They don't get to resupply. They don't get to regroup. Every ship we take down here is one less that threatens another colony. The frigates struck like railgun slugs, their empty hulls piloted by AI, tearing through the Zephron formation. Landon and his crews, safe in their pods, watched their ships die and counted it worth the trade. 6 months into the war, the Zephron High Council reconvened in emergency session. They had lost 40% of their fleet. Human forces had penetrated to within 3 systems of the Zephron homeworld. They don't stop, Councillor Thex gasped, his confidence from months ago utterly shattered. We destroy 1 fleet, and 2 more appear. We hit their shipyards, and they build new ones in asteroid fields. They were never the prey, Vexthor interrupted, finally understanding. We were. Alexis and Landon stood on the observation deck of the UNS Indomitable, humanity's new flagship, as the Zephron homeworld filled the viewscreen. The Council had offered unconditional surrender 3 days ago. Command wants to accept, Landon said quietly. The war's won. Good, Alexis replied. We never wanted this. We just wanted to be left alone. Landon glanced at her. You think they've learned? I think every species in this galaxy just learned that humans are the worst enemy you could possibly make. She pulled up a diplomatic communique. 17 different civilizations have requested non-aggression pacts. The entire Orion arm is scrambling to ensure they're on our good side. Because they're afraid. Because they're smart, Alexis corrected. We gave them a choice, friend or enemy. Most are choosing wisely. The Zephron surrender was formalized at the Kepler 442b Memorial Station, built over the ashes of the colony where it all began. Commander Vexthor, now a prisoner awaiting trial, was forced to walk past the memorial wall bearing 3 million names. You were right to fear us, Landon told him. Humanity spent centuries learning to control our violent nature. You reminded us why we needed that control in the first place. Vexthor's mandibles clicked weakly. What are you? Alexis answered, her voice echoing in the silent chamber. We're the species that survived the Permian extinction, that thrived during ice ages, that split the atom and immediately weaponized it. We're persistence hunters who never ever stop. She leaned closer. And you just gave us a reason to remember what we're capable of. Congratulations, Commander, Landon added coldly. You started a war with the deadliest creatures the galaxy has ever known. How did that work out for you? Vexthor had no answer. In the end, none of them did.